Yeah, it is start recording. So it is very simple. First of all, if in case, if it is showing DHCP is, it is not yet open. System slow or what? Yeah, it is opening. Okay. So for example, go to this adapter, some adapter. Oh, no. I'm going to this adapter. No, where is my Wi-Fi? This is my Wi-Fi adapter, right? Details. Yes. So it is showing DHCP enabled. Yes. Meaning is I got IP address from DHCP server. Why it is showing enabled? If it is showing no, then what to do? What is yes means? What is no meaning? So we'll see that one also. See, it is showing no for this adapter. No means I have to assign IP address. Assign IP address statically. So I go to the properties. Okay, so go to properties. IPv4 properties. So it is, I selected a second option. Use the following IP address means you configured manually. So that's like it. You can see the IP address here. If in case, if I select like this, obtain IP address automatically. Obtain IP address automatically. Meaning is get IP address from DHCP server. Okay. If you select the first option, means get IP address from DHCP server. Okay. Second option means you have to assign IP address manually. Got it or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm selecting first option. Click OK. Close. Again, I open details. Can you see? DHCP enabled yes, because I want to get IP address from DHCP server. Okay, it's not getting anything, even though it is get a IP address only. So that's the different point. But point is no to yes. Okay. So if it is showing yes, DHCP enabled yes means you are a DHCP client. DHCP enabled no means you are a not a DHCP client. Okay. Yes means you are a DHCP client. No means you are not a DHCP client. Okay. Next, how to do this practical part also we'll see. First of all, we need a DHCP server, right? So I have a server, guys. Again, in this one, the practical way, your DHCP server may be in the Active Directory or may not be in the Active Directory mode. Okay, before we go, otherwise I will explain other things. So I'll save this one. Okay, and I will go to new one. So look at here, guys. This is my server. This is my server. I installed ADDS and I configured ADDS. So this server is domain controller. Server is a domain controller. Now I have another server. No ADDS and it is in a work group. It means it's not joined in the domain. It is not a join in the domain. We can say, yeah, okay. It is not in a domain. It is a work group machine. It is in a work group, not in a domain. I didn't join in the domain. Okay, it is in the same network or not. That's a different point, but it is my server. I have a server. It is a work group. This type of server we call it as a standalone server. I have another server. Okay, I have another server. This is in the domain. It is a member of a domain, my domain. So my domain name is domain 16. It is a member of my domain. Okay, so this is a S1, domain name is 16, and this is S3. It is a member of the domain. Member of the, how you add a client to domain? Same thing, we add a client to domain. This server is called a member server. What is a member server? So the server which is a member of the domain. Server which is a member of the domain. Just names only. Standalone server, member server. Standalone server means not in the Active Directory, not in the part of Active Directory. Member server is a part of Active Directory. That is the first difference. Next, if you install a role, in a server, so whether it is a standalone server or a member server, you install a role. For example, you install DHCP. You install a DHCP in both the machines installed. Okay, so both are DHCP servers. Both are DHCP servers. Understand, guys? Both are DHCP server. You can install DHCP role in a standalone and as well as a member servers also. Okay. Okay. Next, guys, here we don't have a place or a infrastructure in my laptop. I can't install a multiple servers here. So what I'm trying to do is I put a DHCP in my server only. Okay, that is, we'll see separately. Look at here. I cannot put a more servers because we need a server and a client. 2 GB, 2 GB, done. If I put a 1 GB, 1 GB, it is danger. This is my server and this is a client. Okay, so here I install already it is having ADDS and DNS also, both are there. Now how to install DHCP here only, because we don't have any choice now. Okay, so I'm doing like this. So obviously I install DHCP in my domain controller, and that is a member server itself. It is in the domain. Okay, like this only we are doing. So we'll go to server first and install DHCP server. So install So how to install? We'll go. This is my server. Close the group policy window. And here it is server manager, manage. How to install a role? So you tell me how to install a role. Server manager, manage, add roles and features. Add roles and features. Okay. Next. So finally find a roles. This is DHCP server. This is a DHCP. So click on DHCP server, read the description, select this option, check mark, then add features. Add features. Okay, done. So I'm going next, next, go up to last. Select this option, which is not required to select also, but make it as a hobby. Install. Now it is installing. So how to do it? Server manager, manage, add roles and features. Of course, you have to do multiple next kind of stuff. So finally you reach roles. Under that one, DHCP server or DHCP, only DHCP. Okay, check and add features. Okay, so click on add features, then go to next. Anything is next, whatever it is. Finally install. The check mark is your wish because DHCP don't require to restart after installation. Okay. Check restart if required. Something option is there now, so like that. And finally click on install. Guys, once it is installed, it asks for a configuration. So what is this configuration? It will add 2 security groups. Yeah, I didn't tell about the groups. Okay, so now so one is DHCP admins group and DHCP users group. If you are a member of the DHCP admin group, you can manage DHCP scopes and DHCP related things. If you are a member of a DHCP users, you can able to see what is going on with your DHCP server scope and other kind of stuff. Okay, this is like a read. This is read and write permissions. You will get it. And another configuration is authorized DHCP. Means AD authorization. Active Directory authorization for DHCP server. We'll get it. Again, we'll go back to the world picture like this. Again, guys, I have a 2 DHCP servers in my network. One is in the standalone server, no Active Directory related. Another is a member server that is bound to Active Directory. It is in the Active Directory. It is in the domain. So I send a request. I send a discovery packet and they send a offer. Okay, to me. Then which IP address? Both are trying to give IP address, right? Which IP address I will accept? I will accept only IP address from S3 because it is a authorized DHCP server, authorized by Active Directory. Authorized by Active Directory. I can take IP address from S2 or S3. I can take IP address from S2 or S3, but I will take from S3. Why? Because of it is authorized DHCP server. So this is automatically authorized. So what about this one? This is unauthorized. There is a name of this unauthorized DHCP server is there that is called a rogue. rogue DHCP server. You know, we scold the people, right? Rogue, rascal, idiot, stupid, like that. Rogue DHCP server. Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, like this. Yeah. Here is a complete DHCP configuration. Click on the complete DHCP configuration. It asks two things. It want to create security groups for delegation of DHCP administration. Okay. Next, DHCP Administrators group. Okay, and DHCP Users group. Authorized DHCP server will create. Just in case, if domain join, if it is in a domain. If in case you forget and you close this one, what I have to do? Better to go to this flag, complete DHCP configuration. Any which ways you can able to do it. So next, yes, you want to authorize DHCP server. So this is a domain name and domain administrator. Just click on commit and close. So it is done, close. So that is one part is completed. Administrators group, authorize. And of course, click on commit. Done. Close. Okay, so this part is completed. So next part is important. Guys, you have to really configure scope and DHCP. What is the scope? Think like this. I have a think like this. So I will remove this thing. No problem. I have a clients. I have a DHCP server. Now I have a clients like this. Multiple clients are there. Think about if I have 100 computers are there. 100 computers are there. Now, how many IP addresses are required? I have 100 devices, 100 computers are a total devices, or 100 computers are there, 100 devices are there. How many IP addresses required? 100 devices are there. How many IP addresses required?
100 IP addresses.
Very good. 100 computer means 100 IP addresses. We required minimum 100 IP addresses are required. Okay, I will configure 100 IP addresses in my DHCP server. In the DHCP server. In the DHCP server, I configured 100 IP addresses. Just an example, 50 also you can create and all. Depends upon number of devices required an IP address. Based on that, we will do it. Little extra is no problem. Little less is problem. Okay. Extra no problem. Out of 100, if you can configure 150 also no problem. Okay. 150 also no problem. So first of all, here, what is your server IP address? Within that network only you have to configure. So make sure what is your DHCP server IP address. Within this network only we have to configure 172.16.0.0. This is my network. Okay, so here it is. Start IP. Okay, the starting one. Starting address. I want to give from 0 to 10 to 172.16.0.110. So total it is become 100, right? You can put 11 also, no problem. 11. Okay. Now it is exactly 100. This is starting. This is end. This is scope range. First of all, I have to tell what is my scope name. Anything, any name you can put it. You can put a scope 1 or I put a CTS 16. Any name, scope name, scope range. Okay. Exclude. Exclude or exclusion. Exclude means we don't want to give certain IP addresses to some through DHCP server. Through DHCP server, you don't want to configure some IP addresses. So then within the range only we have to give. I don't want to give 11 to 15. First 5 IP addresses I don't want to give anyone. Next one is I don't want to give to anyone like this 0 dot within that one. I took 50. I don't want to give 50 to anyone. Okay, or maybe 70 or like based on something. I don't want to assign this particular IP address to anyone. Maybe because of it is configured already as a static, or maybe I don't want to. There is a situation I will use that IP address for different configuration kind of stuff. Okay, so first of all, I plan for a scope, then I plan for a exclusion. You can exclude one range of IP addresses or a single IP. For understanding only, we created. It is not compulsory. Okay. Next. Yeah, first one we will do it. Okay, next one we'll see it. So DHCP configuration. Go to tools, DHCP. In a server manager, tools, DHCP. Expand it. Click on this win domain 16.com IPv4. Okay, win-s1 domain.com IPv4. Right click, new scope. Okay, next. Don't worry guys, I will delete it and I will create it again. I put a name scope 1 or CTS 16. Okay, start IP and IP range 172.16.0.11 starting 172.16.0.110 ending. And based on your IP address class, automatically subnet mask keys came. Don't change anything. Don't change anything. This is a exclusion or excluder kind of stuff. When you do it, better to read this paragraph once. I don't want to give certain IP addresses through my DHCP server. Okay, I can give range of IP addresses. I can give single IP address also. I can able to exclude them. Next, this is the lease duration. By default, lease duration is 8 days. So I'm doing 8 minutes. Okay. Yes, I want to configure these options now. I'm going with the DHCP options. If you have a default gateway, you can mention the default gateway here. For example, I have a router. My router address is like this. Okay, I can configure the router address also. I don't have, just I removed it. Okay, next, automatically it sends my DNS server. No problem. So if you have multiple DNS server, also you can mention like this. Okay, I want to add a extra DNS servers I have, so I can add it. Okay, like this. Okay, Win server, I don't have Win server, no need to configure. I want to activate the scope, yes. Then finally finish it. So, but I didn't, and then I cancel because I told very fast way. I think so. If you feel it is very slow, then we'll increase the speed. No problem. Okay, guys, understand how to open this one. Server manager, tools, DHCP. Next, what to do? Click on here, IPv4. That is asking add scope. IPv4, right click. From here, please tell me.
New scope.
New scope.
New scope.
Next.
Next. Name.
Any name you can
CTS.
give. Any name you can give. Scope 1, scope 2 also. Start IP.
Alternate
As per my
address
planning.
1.16.0.11. 1.16.10.
Okay, my plan is 11, so then I put 11 only.
Next.
If you put a 10 also, no problem. Okay.
172.11.
First 5 IP addresses. Good.
Yeah.
And 50 also, I don't want to give to anyone. Guess when you do it, also you have to outspoke. When you are doing in your home also, what are you doing? Each and every step, you read it and you have to tell it. Then automatically it will remember. So default lease duration is 8 days. I don't want it. I made a zeros, 0 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes. But minute is 8 minutes now. Or you can take 10 minutes also, no problem. You can take 10 minutes. Okay. Just for understanding only. We can change the lease duration. Okay. DHCP options. May I have any gateway here? My laptop having a gateway. Virtual machine don't have any gateway. No router, no gateway devices. No need to configure. So this is my DNS server. Already it is there. Next. Win server don't have. Next. Activate scope. Yes, compulsory. You have to activate. Finish it. Now it is showing in a some blue mark, right? Like this. What to do? Just go to refresh. Okay. Click on refresh button. You will get a green check mark. So this is address pool. If you go to this, it is an address pool. So this is a full address range. Out of address range, these are a excluded range. These are the excluded range. It means 11 to 15 excluded means 16 is the starting IP address. Next one is address lease. Address lease. Address lease means I give an IP address to 10 computers. The 10 computers IP addresses, name and expiry will come here. So to whom I am giving an IP address, that PC's IP address, name and lease duration will noted here. Okay, I note it. So I give an IP address to this, then it will be there. Next is a reservation. We didn't configure any reservation here. I will tell once anyway whether we can able to do this practical or not. We don't know. Reservation means, guys, reservation means it is simply say I have a system. I want to give IP address to the system through DHCP server, and IP address must be always same. Got it? So I have a system, I have a computer. The computer must get a IP address always same. For example, IP address always should get a 51 only. Okay. Normally DHCP today, if I got a 10, tomorrow I will get a 20. Okay. Maybe I will get a some different thing, like maybe tomorrow I will get a 14. Okay. It depends upon your router, switches, servers kind of stuff, in their condition, their cache memory, their MAC addresses kind of stuff. So IP addresses may changes. Okay. Once it is disconnected and connected. But if you want to get IP address, always same IP address, then you have to reserve the IP address. To do that one, this is reservation. Remaining are scope options, like if you have a DNS servers, okay, DHCP server, routers, time servers, name servers, DNS servers, cookie servers, log server, print servers. Okay, so you can add those servers related information to it. This is a vendor class. So based on which operating system. Okay, this is the vendor class. Class means it's a predefined thing. There's two classes are there, vendor class and user class. Okay, don't worry about it. No one will ask you what it is. If they ask, it's okay, no problem. Okay, yeah, here it is. Also, we will get a filters. Which PC you want to give IP address, which PC you don't want to give IP address. Also, we can make it. Okay, guys, this is DHCP configuration is done. Okay. DHCP options. Nothing to do. Do next only. That's it. Okay. Activate the scope. Now, what is the next one? We have to do it. Are you getting an IP address from client or not? So you have to verify from the client. So go to the client. Whatever the user it is, guys. Here IP address in DHCP IP address to the domain controller. There is no relationship except the authorized DHCP server. All remaining is don't mind which system is in the network or not. Look at here. System in the domain or may not be in the domain. Maybe it is belongs to active directory or may not belongs to active directory. Either way, you will get an IP address from DHCP server if you are connected to network. How to open network adapter settings? ncpa.cpl. You can do it with the CMD also, no problem. Okay, details. DHCP enabled no means you're a static IP address. And click on properties. It asks for authentication. You administrator. Admin @123. Now you can able to change it. IPv4 properties. Now it is a manual IP address. Now I want to get IP address from server. What to do?
Obtain an IP address automatically.
Very good. Select the first option, including DHCP server address. Also, I want to get it from the server only. So obtain IP address automatically. If you are observe, guys, when I put a manually, the tab is this tab is not showing. When I put this one, this tab is showing.
Sir.
Okay. So this is alternate configuration. It means you want to get IP from DHCP server. Now DHCP server is not available, or you are not able to get a IP from DHCP server. What to do? That is called a alternate configuration. You will get two options here. First is automatic private IP address, means API address. Next one is user configured. User configured. Okay, you can configure manually here. It means you get IP address, either you get IP address from DHCP, you fail to get IP address from DHCP, and you can assign your manual IP address also. So I'm not doing anything. Very simple. Go to properties, obtain IP address automatically. Click OK. Close. Close. Oh, why you closed that one? So we should get IP address, right? So first of all, details. DHCP enable yes. IP address 170.16.0.17. Actually, up to 15 only we restricted. 16 we should get it, but I got 17 randomly. First come, first serve type. DHCP, DNS address, DHCP address, DNS address, subnet mask, IP address, DHCP enable yes. And if you see the least duration time difference between obtain and expiry is a 10 minutes only. Okay, 10 minutes only. Okay, next go to server again, refresh. So it is my DHCP server given IP address to two devices. One is my computer, my laptop. Another one is my Win7 machine. So when I put a yes, see this it is my VMnet1 got IP address from DHCP server. Okay, I got 16 here, 17 there. My laptop not in the domain, but still I got IP address. So meaning is you no need to be in a domain to get IP address from DHCP server. Guys, understand how to do this practical?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
So can you do it, or do you want to see once more again how to create? Okay, and there is a few more parts are there. Of course, DNS is there. Actually, I want to complete DHCP DNS today, but it is already 1:30. So, so tomorrow morning again class is there, guys. Saturday tomorrow, but morning class is there, and I will complete DNS, and one or two topics are there. One or small things are there. I will complete it. And for a reservation, you want to create a reservation. Also, I will tell otherwise. First of all, do this practical. Okay, complete first this practical, then we will see next. Because if I load more, if you don't understand what is the use, right? You can able to do it. That is a very important. Okay, so what we done in Win7, we going to run ncpa.cpl. So right click on network adapter. Adapter name is Ethernet 0. It is showing. Right click. Status. Details. Then go to properties. Okay, so then my C1 is actually in the in a domain, right? So that's why it is asked for authentication. So give administrator, okay, and admin @123. Go to properties, select Internet Protocol IP v4. Okay, then go to properties. Is it required to tell every step? You know already. So select. Okay, obtain IP address automatically. So like this. Then okay kind of stuff, and check IP address. Next, guys, there is a few more small parts of DHCP thing is there, like a troubleshooting thing. One troubleshooting is you change network, means you went to different network, but IP address not updated in DHCP only. You are in a DHCP mode only. You went to different network. IP address is not updated. Next, you got a IP address like 169.254. something. So this is the two network related problems. So DHCP is mainly networking related. Okay, so this is the two related problems are there. How to solve it? Okay, first of all, solution is also same. That's why I tell. So first of all, here it is. Go better disable and enable network adapter. You must know what is your adapter. Disable, enable, or in command prompt put a command ipconfig / release menu. Okay, so what happened? Release means it removes existing configuration. In the client only we are doing. Server is server, that's it. Renew means DORA process. Run the DORA process, it get IP address. It is try to get IP address from DHCP server. Okay, so this is in a command line. So this is the most common used troubleshooting part of this. For this problem also same thing. For this problem also you have to do same thing. But why I'm dividing this one? Look at here. What is this IP address? Automatic private IP address. .169 254 0.02 169 254 255 255. It's a complete range, but actual range is like this. Both answers are correct. That is complete range. This is valid range like this. Okay. Whenever you failed get IP address from client, failed to get IP address from DHCP server, client itself an IP address from automatic private IP address range. Okay. Next, it is invalid. It is invalid. Can't communicate. Can't communicate. Cannot communicate with that one. So what to do? Check DHCP server. Find any issues like connectivity, connection issues, server status means up or down, scope, service, once problem solved, client get IP address from DHCP server. Client get IP address from DHCP server. That is the first one. The second one is if it's still showing 169.254. Like this. What to do? Go to cmd ipconfig/release to remove the IP address and try to get the IP address freshly from DHCP server, or you can use like a disable and enable network adapter. At least I done have one solution. This is a troubleshooting. Only one troubleshooting is there, that is a automatic private IP address, or when you change the network. So you got a IP address, your IP address is not updating. It is showing old IP address only. It is showing old IP address. So what to do? Enable or disable the network adapter, or release and renew IP address. Next one, you got IP address like this. Okay, very good. It is IP address. You got IP automatic private IP address in the full range. So IP addresses assigned to your system within this range only. Okay, so whenever you file to get IP address from DHCP server, it assign itself an IP address between this range. It is invalid and we can't able to communicate with that one. Check DHCP server. Okay, and find out any issues are there, solve them. Once it is solved, automatically you should get an IP address. If you are not getting, then do the IP config release, IP config renew. Okay. So this is the basic troubleshooting of this one. That's it, guys. That's it for today. Tomorrow If you have any doubts, please ask me. I'll tell. Practical theory, anything. DHCP is one of the wonderful topic. DHCP, DNS, wonderful topic. So it's scoring topic in interviews mainly. If you got that question, DHCP, DNS questions. What happened? These two are right there, but no one is speaking. That's the problem. Either I have to disconnect or I have to tell something. Any doubts? No doubts.
No doubt, sir.
No doubts.
Okay. So I'm disconnecting. Okay. So then, first of all, I'll stop recording.
Class, not there.